first year student from School of Physics under Pure Physics courses.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Abdul Muhammad. My metric number 145895, and I am from School of Physics and I'm taking Geophysics.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad Fikri bin Jubidi from School of Physics, first year student taking Geophysics. So today I'm going to talk about telemetry system. So what is it actually? By definition, the term telemetry is derived from two Greek terms, tele and metron, which mean remote and measure respectively. So by definition, telemetry system is defined as the sensing and measuring of information at some remote location and then transmitting that information to a central or host location. In the simplest terms, telemetry is the transmission of measurement data from one location to another location. So one question, when telemetry is required? Telemetry technique become essential in two situations where the conventional measurement or local measurement techniques cannot work. First, if the sensor and the central host is very far apart. Telemetry uses electrical communication for transmitting electrical signal representing the value of the measurement from the location of the measurement to the location of the user. Secondly is the inaccessibility of the measurement. In such a situation, the electrical output of the sensor sensing the measurement cannot be accessed by conventional method of connecting wire. Therefore, the electric output is converted to a radio wave which is then transmitted to the user's location. How does telemetry work? So let me explain this step by step. In a typical application, firstly, the base or host site requests data from the remote site. Then, the base transmits a request to the remote unit telling it to send its data. Third, the base reverts to a receive mode and awaits the transmission from the remote site. Fourth, the output of the sensors is converted to digital data by a small computer device, what we call as remote terminal unit or RTU. Then, the RTU is interfaced to a modem device that converts the digital data into an analog signal that can be transmitted over the air. 6. The modem on the base station takes the analog signal received and converts it back to a digital form that can be processed by the data recovery equipment. 7. Once the base receives the remote site information, it may send additional instruction to that site or continue on to request data from the next remote site. Finally, this polling process continues until all the remotes in the system have sent their data. The next question is, how far can the data be transmitted? Propagation of radio waves are subjected to many variables that affect the range and performance of a radio system. But the factors affecting the loss in the transmission path between the transmitter and receiver are basically obstacles and power loss. The most reliable system will employ a line of sight design where the radio waves travel directly from the transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna without any obstruction. However, the curvature of the Earth limits the line of sight distance. If the transmitting and receiving antennas are too far apart, the Earth will block the radio wave. The maximum line of sight transmission distance is determined by antenna height and may be limited by other obstacles. Once a transmission path is determined, signal power comes into play. In general, signal power decreases in proportion to the square of the distance. If the distance doubles, power decreases by 4 times. After all, these two factors must be taken into consideration in telemetry system. Moving on, what is the application of telemetry system? Firstly, we can see it in the medical field, where the physician uses mobile cardiac telemetry. Mobile cardiac telemetry or MCT is a cardiac monitoring method that uses a small portable device to monitor a patient's cardiac activity. It records the patient's heartbeat as they exercise or even sleep. Some MCT systems feature beat-to-beat analysis, which captures every heartbeat over a 24-hour period. No data is ever lost, even when the patient wanders out of the network range. In that case, the device will store the data until the patient enters back into range. With access to this level of data, physicians are able to make the most accurate and confident diagnosis. The data collected through the continuous electrocardiogram is being transmitted to the monitoring center and is reviewed by the professionally trained staff while looking for any abnormalities as they occur to the patient. Next, telemetry system is used in animal tracking. Telemetry has been used extensively in the tracking of animals. After an animal has been captured and the tracking device has been attached, researchers can monitor movement of that individual for extended period of time without having to recapture it. Satellite telemetry uses platform transmitter terminals or PTT that are either attached externally on the skin or surgically implanted into the animals. The PTT then communicate via radio signal to orbiting satellites, which localize the signal and give positional fixes in latitude and longitude of the animal, so the researchers can know the exact location of the animal. Let's talk about the advantage and disadvantage of telemetry system. The most observable two advantages are, firstly, telemetry system give faster response time compared to conventional way. Secondly, it is easier to use in remote areas where it is not practical to use wire on coaxial cables. In contrast, the most apparent disadvantage is it is expensive. This is because we need to invest more on manpower and resources as we are required to install the antenna in the remote area. So, life lesson here, if your company is not generating enough money, go and pick the conventional way.
So that's all from Group 10. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.